know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately: Sean Carter.
2 seconds later.
Well, Jack, you were right, unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. And we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
And Dame Dash could really come out, and if people asked Dame Dash, because he's just not going to volunteer that information, if people asked Dame Dash, who was his partner in Rockefeller Records, who put Jay-Z on, who's been with him he was with him for so many years, Dame Dash would confirm that Jay-Z is bisexual.
So
why won't you say the words alleged, even for your protection, from a legal perspective or otherwise? Why not use the word alleged?
Because it's not alleged, because I witnessed, I saw it. It would be alleged if I believed, or that was my opinion, or that was my feeling. Then I would love to get a cease and desist, or I would love to get a lawsuit where I had to prove that this isn't slander, because they know, what I know. And that's the reason why nobody's ever contacted me. They just are hoping, that it's going to go away. And for whatever reason, it just keeps building. And I keep doing these interviews, and we've been going viral. I read the comments from, the people sometimes, and I laugh, and they're like, why is he hiding? He's hiding. It's like, like now people say because I'm wearing glasses and I'm wearing, this big pink thing and I'm wearing this hoodie, he's hiding. No, I'm not hiding.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
All right, so listen, about 2 weeks ago, as a lot of you all know already, I dropped this interview with Rihanna's publicist, this guy by the name of Jonathan Hay, where and I think the word exposed has lost its meaning to an extent, because a lot of people are using this word and just throwing it out there. But this interview is quite literally this guy who's been a part of the industry for a while, exposing a lot of these celebrities, exposing how it ties to the politicians, how it ties to a bigger narrative and a bigger agenda in this world, right? And the interview is sitting at almost 800,000 views right now. So once again, thank you all for that. But there's a lot of things he said, a lot of celebrities he talked about in the interview, and Jay-Z was one of those celebrities that he said he is 100% for certain about. And he talked about what he wanted to say about Jay-Z, and he said that it's not alleged. Not only but before we get into that, let's go over what happened in the last week. Jaguar Wright, who has been talking about a lot of these celebrities for years and has been called crazy, bitter, jealous, a conspiracy theorist, was allowed on Piers Morgan's platform. And I said when I reacted to the video, I don't think you all realize just how big of a deal that is. You talking about Piers Morgan, bro, like one of the biggest social commentary YouTube channels in the world. He has international reach. He had Jaguar Wright on, and one of the things she said about Jay-Z was this here.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately: Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must Stop.
And even when she said it, Piers Morgan himself said, listen, Jay-Z, Beyonce are not here to defend themselves. Well, it has now come out that apparently Jay-Z and Beyonce's attorneys have sent a cease and desist to Piers Morgan, which resulted in this man taking the interview down, which is and he issued an apology, which is absolute insanity to me, because it's not like Piers Morgan was saying this. He hosted somebody else on his show who said these things.
I interviewed Jaguar Wright, a singer-songwriter who's made claims about Diddy for years. Those claims had already received a lot of attention in the media across many platforms for many years. And that's the thing about platforms. The reality of the modern world is that pretty much everyone has a platform as long as they have something to say that other people want to hear. That's why we invited her on to be interviewed. The people making these claims have an audience with or without shows like mine. Well, Jaguar Wright unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored, but like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too, and we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
You know what I mean? Like, that's different. And that's mind-blowing to me, because it's like, okay, Jay-Z, let me get this right. You wore a shirt that says "Do without Wilt," which is not even a secret. That is literally a quote from Aleister Crowley, an occultist. And under my belief, and this is all alleged, under my belief, this is the guy that most of these celebrities follow. I think a lot of these people are Thelemites. They follow this religion called Thelema, right, where they believe in a lot of weird stuff. And I think Aleister Crowley was the leader of that. And I think that's who a lot of these people worship. Let me get this straight. You can wear a shirt like that out in public, but people can't assume certain things about you. You can affiliate yourself with whatever this woman's name is. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name. Where you're attending these ritual-like looking parties where she's making cakes and party favors and all these treats that look like human body and blood. That's not even weird at the least. People can't assume this. You have all these symbolisms in your video. You have songs called Freemasons. You have all this weird stuff that's happened around you in your career. And you have alluded to certain things throughout your career. And people can't come to their own conclusions about you. You're going to send cease and desists depending on what platform is on. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because when I interviewed Jonathan Hay, the interview that has almost 800,000 views, it's the one right after that. I dropped the video like 2 days later where I actually interviewed him myself. And this is the interview that a lot of people overlooked. And I wish that wasn't the case, because that is a much bigger interview. It's where I talked to him one-on-one. It only sitting at like maybe 24, 25,000 views right now. We got to run it up because a lot of people need to see that interview. One of the people that he talked about was Jay-Z. And he said that Dame Dash could vouch for everything he's saying about Jay-Z.
But listen, I will tell you this. I think this is that we should try to get your viewers, to add, to comment, to tag is Dame Dash. Because Dame Dash knows that Jay-Z, Dame Dash can confirm that Jay-Z is bisexual 100%. And Dame Dash could really come out, and if people asked Dame Dash, because he's just not going to volunteer that information, if people asked Dame Dash, who was his partner in Rockefeller Records, who put Jay-Z on, who's been with him he was with him for so many years, Dame Dash would confirm that Jay-Z is bisexual for sure. So I think everybody should tag Dame Dash and get him to speak out, because Dame Dash knows that to be the case. But see, Dame Dash can confirm all that. Dame Dash can confirm that like I said, that Jay-Z's bisexual. Dame Dash can confirm that Jay-Z has been with underage women. Dame Dash can confirm that Jay-Z, is really a piece of trash, and Dame Dash knows everything. So the greatest source, everybody should tag Dame Dash, and have him speak out. Is Jay-Z bisexual? And Dame Dash will say yes.
To all the people who say, why does it matter? Why do you people seem to care so much about what someone is doing in the privacy of their own bedroom? I've already addressed this even in the first video that I've already dropped. I was saying what I imagine people would probably be saying in the comment section. What's your response to people saying like, why does the sexuality of a man matter to begin with?
So, for somebody like Jay-Z, I think it's more like the persona of what they portray, right? Like to be this, this gangster rapper and to be this this straight man and everything else. Like it's more about the persona.
And during this interview, I asked him, I said, listen, man, why should we believe you? How do you know all these things? Right? What makes what you're saying to be true? How do we know that you're not bitter? How do we know you don't have a hidden agenda? And he gave me answers to all those questions. But you said yourself that you started a rumor about, I believe, Jay-Z and Rihanna. And I think that's a great time to transition because you have made a lot of claims and said a lot of things over the past couple of weeks that many people would say are extremely controversial. You've gotten a lot of mixed reactions. Much bigger reason why people believe that it's clout chasing is because you're documented coming at yourself and admitting that you've lied on celebrities before. So my question to you is, what is your response to those people? And how do people even know to believe some of the things that you've been saying, if not all of them?
So that's another thing about a publicist is you're supposed to fall on the sword. You're supposed to clear up and say stuff like, oh, the Twitter was hacked. And, you're supposed to, part of the publicist's job is to, clear up the media stuff and even take blames for things that you didn't do. So honestly, that's stuff that's happened like that. That's been part of my job because, I protect my clients at all costs was like my whole stance back then. But now it's crazy as I've grown up. And you got to think when I was doing that, I was in my 20s, right? So, and I'm hungry and I'm trying to, get on myself and I'm doing whatever it takes and I'm compromising all over the place, and I'm just not thinking about long term at all. I'm thinking about, making it and going further in my career. So that's why if your client says, hey, we need you to do this or say this, that's what I would do, pretty much.
I see. Even if it was true or not.
Well, yeah, if you're protecting the client, correct.
I see. And one thing we didn't talk about.
So basically, is you're telling their truth, and that's one of the reasons why I got out of it, because it's almost like you're a criminal defense lawyer. You know that you're representing a criminal, but for whatever reason, you're doing your job. That was like my job, to do that kind of stuff, especially when it's like high profile things like that. And honestly, the money that is made, to do that is crazy. So do you see the dates down here? 4/27, 2005.
Yes.
05. So this is Jennifer Vineyard. And at the time, she works for MTV. Okay. And this is 10th, 2005. She says, what's Jay-Z's newest venture? I says, which is a story. This is a pitch to her, to MTV. On the Houston book, but I have all the info soon. In the meantime, I have something hotter, which is a press story from the inside of Jay-Z's newest venture. Producer, hot stuff. I want to email you first if you're interested. That's from March 15th, 2005. And then she says, what's Jay-Z's newest venture? And then the next one, the press release is attached. Let me know when you run it. Please include Veda Nobles. That's the producer. And then right here is Rihanna's very first press release for Pon de Replay. And this is March 16th, 2005, right? And it talks about Veda Nobles being the producer. Noble's current undertaking is Def Jam Family News. Talks about that meeting that we've all talked about. She got a deal. So then flash forward, let me know when you run with it. Then I'm following up. Did you get press release? Is MTV interested in it? If not, let me know ASAP. This is still Jennifer Vineyard from MTV. And then she says, we'll know tomorrow after our meeting. And then thanks, let me know tomorrow. She says, we're doing an item today. And this was the first time that Rihanna got any press release, March 16th. And then she sent me this message. She says, sorry, it's small, but on a widely read page, just got swamped with MJ trial and Little Kim verdict today. And this was her first story, right, in 2005, but it's so old that it is now like down.
Why would you, or how would you know some of these
Correct.
things? Like, you've never been a publicist for Jay-Z, right? But you've made some statements about Jay-Z as well. And a lot of people want to know, how do you know these things?
Well, I've been a publicist for Jay-Z's artist, who's a mill, who was involved with Jay-Z from his third album. You know, she was on, Can I Get A, which is one of Jay-Z's biggest hits. And she was on, Jigga What, Jigga Who, she was on that. So I worked with her. I was dealing with Jay-Z constantly because I was a Mills publicist. Right. And then when I was a Mills publicist, and then I would be hired, by Def Jam, to do PR. And so I always dealt with Jay-Z. Jay-Z's very hands-on with everything that he's doing. People know that, like in the industry, that he was at that time, bisexual, So, I mean, you would see him.
People in the industry know this. First, two-part question. How do you know? And I guess three-part, do you have proof? 3, when you say people in the industry, who are we talking about, generally speaking?
So, like, since I was working with the mill and people in Def Jam to release her project, those type of people, like Tata and Jay-Z staff at the time, everybody would talk about, just shocked that Jay-Z was also bisexual. So it's kind of like being in that circle. People would always talk about it, like shocked, that he would do that. As far as Sway Calloway, RZA, Jay Khaled, I just told you I witnessed it. I was there. I was with those guys and I heard it, and that's it. They weren't doing porn. They were going at it, man. I know that is true. I was there when it was happening, right? Like, it'd have been amazing, like, if I took a picture, or would it have been amazing? Would that have been like, that's crazy. So unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of gay acts, but that's why I'm out here saying the stuff that I'm saying, because I'm not worried about any kind of lawsuit, whatsoever, because they're going to have to prove that I'm not.
Yeah. No, I think you may have caught the tail end of what I was saying. As far as the Jay-Z, if I'm being a devil's advocate and we're just trying to be fair here, to be fair, you never actually seen anything with Jay-Z. These are just things that you heard in close proximity.
Correct. As close proximity as you can get with Jay.
But I also asked him another important question. I said, are you not afraid, because you're just choosing not to say alleged? Why won't you say alleged? And he answered,
no.
Why won't you say the words alleged, even for your protection from a legal perspective or otherwise? Why not use the word alleged?
Because it's not alleged, because I witnessed, I saw it. It would be alleged if I believed, or that was my opinion, or that was my feeling. Then I would love to get a cease and desist, or I would love to get a lawsuit where I had to prove that this isn't slander, because they know, what I know. And that's the reason why nobody's ever contacted me. They just are hoping, that it's going to go away. And for whatever reason, it just keeps building. And I keep doing these interviews, and we've been going viral. I read the comments from, the people sometimes, and I laugh, and they're like, why is he hiding? He's hiding. It's like, like now people say because I'm wearing glasses and I'm wearing, this big pink thing and I'm wearing this hoodie, he's hiding. No, I'm not hiding.
And then I asked him, I said, okay, since you won't say alleged and you sound so sure about this, are you not afraid of cease and desist? Are you not afraid of a lawsuit? Are you not afraid of defamation accusations? And he said, no. I'm actually ready for them. I wish they would try that, because they know I know the truth, and I'll be able to back it up with not only evidence that I'm not sharing with you all so that I can have some sort of leverage, but because I'll take it to TMZ. Have I heard through the grapevines that my channel, which of course I'm not nowhere near as big as Piers Morgan, I nowhere near have as much reach as he does, but the interview is on its way to 1 million views. And I anticipate that within the next 2 weeks, that video will hit 1 million views. I think that's more than enough noise. I think that's more than enough traction. I think that's more than enough people that's been reached for you to feel like, all right, this could continuously grow and actually defame my character. Have I heard through the grapevines that I could be next? Yes. I have heard that I could receive a cease and desist. But I've said in these interviews, all of these things that we're talking about is alleged. These things are not coming from me. I don't know these people. I have my beliefs. I know what I believe about you. But this is somebody else that I barely know. that said these things about you, right? So you can't send something to me to take down off my platform because of what somebody else I'm interviewing is saying. This is their opinion, bro. Go find them and send a cease and desist to them, right? Have y'all seen the cease and desist? Are you familiar with this stuff? What does it make them look guilty, right? Like why? And here's another question: why can't P. Diddy send a cease and desist? Because he's in jail. Why can't his attorneys do the same? Because he's been officially accused in the court of law. Is that why? Right? Like what prevents him from sending a cease and desist to all these YouTube channels and people and coming out the woodworks, and all of a sudden everybody got a Diddy story, a Diddy party story. And this is the last thing I'll say. I talked about being at the Lemite and them following Aleister Crowley. This is what I need a lot of people to understand. A lot of people are confused when they hear something like 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Another thing a lot of people are confused about is when they hear something like Diddy parties and freak-offs. They weren't freak-offs, bro. In my opinion, allegedly, these were satanic rituals. They were not freak-offs. And when you think about it from that perspective, it makes more sense. When you think about 1,000 bottles of baby oil, that wasn't for P. Diddy. Y'all calling him the diddler and the freaker and whatever you want to call him. This man wasn't behaving alone. First of all, he was taught these things. Second of all, he was behaving and working with other people in the industry and outside the industry. We talking about executives. We talking about people that's a part of corporate America that was working right alongside this dude. A lot of that baby oil has been allegedly traced with other drugs and things in the baby oil. These were not freak-offs. They weren't just freaky parties, bro. These were rituals. And one of his alleged victims spoke out about this.
All the adults are covering their asses. All the adults are, I left at a certain time, yet you knew children were there. You knew these parties were not okay. They weren't freak-offs. They were satanic ritual orgies. Get it straight. It wasn't just adults in these parties. The adults were responsible for the child slaves that were in the party. And one of those children were me.
I don't understand why that's so hard for people to grasp. The year of 2024 is the year of truth and the year of exposure. And I'm convinced of that. Hop in the comment section, give me your thoughts, man. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for being here. Hit the notification bell. Until next time, God bless. Peace.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.